In front of the paradise gates, he was forbidden to enter. Everyone has a date with death, but some die and come back with amazing stories. These stories from the afterlife are known as NDEs, near-death experience. Below is the true story of a citizen of India living nowadays in the United States. The protagonist, who lives near the city of Detroit in the state of Michigan, tells that he suffered apparently a heart attack. Admitted to the emergency unit, the doctor discovered that it was a complication with the pancreas, and due to a medical mistake, during the operation his lungs pulled with blood, so they had to induce a coma. He had been living in the United States for a few years, with a different social background. Without knowledge of the Christian religion, his testimony has an added value, because he was lacking a religious influence that would lead to an episode more in line with the Christian faith than with the Hindu religion. In his critical state, he noticed how darkness surrounded him, how he was slowly disconnecting from the physical world, and he was only able to hear the comments of the medical team, more and more distant. As he detached from his body, he floated towards a light, a blinding light, but that light in those moments gave him a certain security. When he came out of the tunnel of light, he saw himself on a platform, like on top of a mountain. The platform was about 300 meters long and about 100 meters wide. From where he saw a gorgeous and resplendent city, which, according to him, had 12 huge gates, but they were closed, and he had an intense desire to enter that city, to be part of it, because it transmitted a feeling of perfect happiness. He knew it was heaven. He was in front of the very gates of paradise. The sense of sight in his spiritual body was very acute. He could perceive objects very clearly, and even he could, posing his gaze on distant objects, see in detail, like applying the zoom of a camera. He saw powerful angels guarding the perimeter of that city with imposing walls, where the buildings seemed to be made of glass. But the doors were still closed. He was certain that he wasn't worthy to enter that wonderful city. He realized that he was standing at the far left of this platform, fearing that he would fall, for it had no railings, and just to his left, right down his position, he saw at the base of that platform a great abyss that, like a portal, was leading to other dimensions. And he feared being destined for that dark pit, with a heavy feeling that once thrown into the darkness, he would never come out. And with this terrible thought, he began to cry out to God. Suddenly, a light arose behind him, coming from the center of that platform. He saw a structure like a throne, reached by a staircase with golden steps, and inside the enclosure, a powerful being seated on a throne. He knew he was in front of the Creator of the universe, and that God was aware of his conduct on earth. There, like naked, he couldn't hide his evil and sins. With shame, he could no longer look at God. He was aware, without any excuses, of his lowliness during his life, and began to ask for forgiveness, desiring for some way to escape the terrifying fate that awaited him below in the pit. Trembling, he didn't stop begging God. He knew that a just and hard sentence was about to be pronounced over his soul. He saw that to the left of the throne there was a small and narrow door which seemed to be the only way for him. After a long pause, he felt waves of love and mercy from God engulfing his being, and to his great relief he was granted a return to earth. He then took courage to ask God how he should proceed when coming back to his life. What religious group should he enter, if a Christian church or other temple? God didn't answer. He insisted again. Which church should he join, so that when he would return in the future, he would be allowed to enter that wonderful city? After a pause, God finally told him that the denomination of the church was not so important, that sometimes believers limit themselves to a routine Sunday visit to the temple, but rather we should develop a daily honest relationship with the Creator, not once a week, and that we should endeavor to follow these valuable instructions. As a mandate, and not as a recommendation, it's very important to love the family and the children. Children must be raised in respect and love for God. It's a sacred responsibility of parents because their future doesn't depend only on the education we give them, but also the example they see for our conduct. Also, try to always tell the truth. Avoid all lies and manipulation, to build honest relationship with our fellow men. Third, submit entirely to the will of God, and God emphasized entirely. 4. Walk with God. This is walking in the same direction as Him, according to His commandments, with humility, love, and holiness. And finally, never forget that the price of sin is death, for nothing impure or polluted will enter heaven. Remember the Bible that declares, "Without holiness no one shall see God." Coming this experience from a person who was born in India with a very different creed and religion, it's a testimony that strengthens the position of Christianity in its redeeming role towards all the peoples and races of the earth, which reminds us of the verse of Acts 4:12 that says, "And in no other is there salvation, for there is no other name under heaven given to men by which we must be saved."